Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you happen to be listening to this, welcome to episode 5 of Leadership Untitled. My name is Karen Turner. I am a senior operations executive as well as a high performance leadership coach. And here on Leadership Untitled, we talk about how to refine our leadership skills, gain momentum in our careers, and navigate corporate politics. Today, we are actually on part 1 of a 2-part series, and I am excited about that. As we head into 2022 and these last 2 episodes of 2021, and I know everyone says that, but there's a reason that everyone says, or what I'm about to say, there's a reason that everyone says this, that I can't believe we're already here at the end of December, getting ready to look back at 2021 and welcome in 2022. At the start of the year, truthfully, those 365 days loom pretty long and large, and it seems like forever before you'll get back to experiencing this holiday time. And before you know it, it just rapidly accelerates and you're in December. So I will say it regardless of how many people have said it. I am, and I cannot believe that we are here at the end of December and at the end of the year. So, in the final 2 episodes of Leadership Untitled for 2021, we are going to be talking about and exploring how you can accelerate your leadership journey into 2022. In part 1, which is today, we're going to touch on exactly what is high performance leadership coaching. I get a lot of questions about it because it is a different framework and a different format than what I have ever been used to in my career, having gone through quite a bit of coaching and quite a bit of personal development and growth. This is a different format than what I have experienced, and that's one of the reasons that I was drawn to it. And I'm also going to share a little bit of the behind the scenes as well. Jumping in, providing background in terms of why and how I came to this place. I could not be here without talking about one of my favorite books. I call it my Holy Grail book. I have read it in multiple times. I have the hardcover. I've read it via audiobook, all of the different ways that I can consume it. It is High Performance Habits by Bouchard. And if I was incredibly prepared, I see it sitting there over there on my bookshelf, I would show you the book. I'm just so used to talking about it and sharing it that I didn't have the book with me to show it to you, but it's High Performance Habits by Bouchard. In 2018, my brother actually recommended the book to my husband. I'm pretty sure that's the way it went. My husband read it and was just like, this is the book that you need to read. He said, as I was reading it, he found it helpful, but all he could think about was that this would resonate so well with me. But let me tell you, I was focused on this is again the beauty of live. It's just right there. Yeah. When you've got your helpers behind the scenes who are listening and coming to your rescue. Thank you so much to my assistant, aka husband. So here we go. High performance habits. How Extraordinary People Become That Way, Bouchard. I highly recommend this book. And my first episode, I think, for 2022 will be focusing on the books that I love and continue to read over and over again, and some of the books that I enjoyed in 2021. A book in review. So please come prepared for that because I am always looking for book recommendations. So please come prepared to share for that episode and jump into the chats for that so we can share our book recommendations and why and grow our arsenal. So again, it's 2018. My husband read the book, High Performance Habits. Like, you absolutely need to read this. It will resonate with you. Here's where I was at that moment in 2018. I believe it was March or April. And at that point, I was on maternity leave with our second baby girl, and she was 3 or 4 months. We also had a 2.5-year-old as well. And I was at a place where I was dealing with a roller coaster of emotions. Of course, hormones settling after pregnancy, giving birth. I was considering what it was going to be like to return to work and having and dealing with all of the massive roller coaster of emotions. And so when my husband said, "You have to read this book," I was truly just not in that mindset. I wasn't trying to read anything. I didn't want to personally improve myself. I was just not in a great place. Thankfully, he persisted and I did end up reading it. Clearly, you see how much I enjoyed if I'm calling it my holy grail book, but I'll share with you the 2 reasons why it had an incredible impact on me. Reason number one, as a high performer, and it's okay for yourself to label you. It's okay for you to label yourself as a high performer. As a high performer, I was truly flailing. Incredibly thankful, incredibly grateful to be blessed with 2 healthy children, wonderful husband. Well, let me tell you again, being on maternity leave, having left and being a leader of a very large number of teams, having left that in kind of a rush, like no matter how much you prepare, and I prepare a lot, that last day before heading onto a maternity leave always goes by in a whirlwind. We welcomed our baby girl in December, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after. She was a little bit early after I had gone on maternity leave. The whirlwind of holidays into the new year, it had taken a toll. And so I found myself flailing, not ready to consider going back to work, feeling just a lack of energy. And that's not a place that I enjoyed being in. It's not a place also that I wanted to remain in, but I was feeling that I didn't know what next steps to take, how to move from feeling like I was flailing, yeah, not failing, but flailing, and finding a structure, finding the next steps, wanting to know how to gain control. And when I read this book, it was incredibly motivating to me because it did resonate so strongly. My husband and I have been together for over 20 years, and so he absolutely called it and knew that how much I would enjoy the book. I was looking for how to set clear priorities, how to develop clarity, and how to set boundaries as well. I was not looking for balance. That is the one thing that I have let go in my personal life, in my career. It is about shifting priorities and not necessarily achieving this elusive balance, because that will lead to unhappiness. So I have let that go. But this book and the concepts in the book helped me to perform at higher levels, both on a professional level and on a personal level. I was able to be the best version of myself when I was at work and be the best version of myself when I was at home. At least 90% of the time. And let me tell you, I will take a 90-10 split the majority of the time, all the time. That is incredible. And I saw my career take significant increases even after being on a maternity leave. And while I would love to say that we live in a society where maternity leave is welcomed, and you as a woman who can and has repopulated the world to allow more people to be here, it is not welcomed in all workplaces, and it is a detriment to a career as women. And we see it in our pay, we see it in our promotional opportunities. Add to that, of course, as I have talked about in previous episodes, bringing in race, bringing in diversity, inclusion, and equity, taking a maternity leave and taking any time away as a female is often detrimental to our professional careers. But with this book, being able to again identify those priorities, being able to figure out how to show up as the best of myself in that time and in that moment, I saw my career change and my trajectory skyrocket from 2018 to now. And also being able to see that growth and fulfillment in my personal life. So there is nothing you can tell me that about these concepts that will make me say that it didn't change my life. So these concepts absolutely changed my life. And being the person who I am, jumping into the second reason and the final reason why this book changed my life is that I had been for years drawn into leadership and executive coaching. I am someone who, when I feel that there's a need or feel that there's a gap or feel that I can be of service, I want to fill that role. I want to fill that gap. I just didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to get into the leadership coaching, executive coaching arena. I couldn't find, or I hadn't found a framework that had spoken to me in all of the coaching that I have personally experienced. There were good parts to everything, but nothing truly resonated with me across the board. And the thought of working full time, being a mama, and pulling together all the best parts of everything that I had experienced to create my own structure and framework didn't necessarily resonate with me. Was it something that I wanted to do? And also, I wanted to be able to speak with confidence about what I was sharing and what I was putting into the world as my service. And in order to do that, I wanted something that had proven history that I could rely on and something that I had personally experienced. And that is what I felt and as I read that book. I was like, these concepts are incredible. This framework is incredible, very actionable, very collaborative, and not relying on the coach E to kind of direct, but being able to come into the sessions knowing what we were going to talk about and how we were going to move to growth and progress. So I was ready to just use the book as the framework. But once I got to the end, I discovered that Brendon Bouchard, through the High Performance Institute, offers high performance coaching certification. And so in November of 2018, I became a certified high performance coach. And since then, I have led group sessions, one-on-one coaching sessions as well, private sessions. And truly, it is one of the greatest joys that I have professionally, seeing aha moments and being a part of someone's growth and development from a personal perspective again and professional. So, why does high performance leadership coaching resonate so much with me as well as with so many others? Let's start with what it isn't. High performance leadership coaching isn't about the grind. That thought that as we talk about moving balance off of the table because it is so elusive, but then also not going to the other direction of never sleeping, always being available, always pushing yourself. It's high performance leadership is not about that. It is about developing full engagement. It is about that feeling of joy and confidence that comes from giving your absolute best. And developing and giving your absolute best is not about the grind. It is not about not setting boundaries. It is not about always being available, pushing yourself to an extreme, which is sometimes what high performance is associated with. But instead, no, it is developing full engagement and discovering the feeling of joy and confidence that comes from giving your absolute best. And giving your absolute best doesn't mean that you are wearing yourself down. And that is the first part of what truly resonated with me, was being able to shed that high performer means high action, high energy all the time, and that there isn't any time to step back, be thoughtful, be retrospective. So, high performance leadership is not about grinding. It is not about always being on. It is about reflection. It is about taking steps back, and it is about finding joy and confidence. It's about being fully engaged. It is a continuous journey. High performance leadership coaching is a continuous journey that raises your intention. It says, every day may not be different, but every day I wake up thinking about how I can show up as a better version of myself, how I can continue to raise my intention to show up better, differently, and improving. So we can all reach our set point. And of course, since 2018, I've reached set points and I have been happy where I have been. And then you reach places where you're just like, I'm ready for more growth. And that's where high performance coaching, high performance leadership coaching provides you with those tools and resources, which is something else that as a coach, I enjoy giving tools and resources that you can look back on, not just notes that you're taking or notes that I take, but actual resources in your hands, homework. And as a high performer, homework I know doesn't scare you. In fact, you're like, ooh, I know your ears just perked up, homework, because we all love a little bit of work. But having worksheets that you can continue practicing the concepts through the week or through the month until the next session, however frequently you're meeting with your coach. And I appreciate that, because sometimes what happens in a coaching session is that you have your breakthrough, you write some notes, but then you never revisit them. And in this framework, in this structure, you have an opportunity to have those breakthrough moments, have your ahas, but then grow, build, and develop on them until we meet each other again. So, high performance leadership answers the questions of how. And I'm going to share with you now an unpopular opinion. As you are scrolling through social media, um, you see the affirmation posts. I am powerful. I am bold. I am resilient. And I love affirmations. So I should probably preface this. I'm 100% a fan of affirmations. But here is the unpopular opinion. Reading those affirmations alone, scrolling past them and in the moment saying, "Oh yeah, that's good. I go, yes, I am bold, I am dynamic, I am resilient." It doesn't actually change your life. Simply writing your affirmations, simply scrolling through social media and acknowledging affirmations, that alone is not going to change your life. You may resonate again in the moment, but when you read them, be honest, because I will be honest with you. In the past, I would again, yep, cheer them on. Yep, that's me. I am bold. I am resilient. I am dynamic. I am all of those things. However, I never took action to make them happen. And many people don't take action because they don't know what to do. And so high performance leadership coaching is the how. How do you take action so that as you see these words of affirmations floating around in the ether, or as you're writing them down? I write mine down every single day, but they empower me because I know that I have taken action, or I know how to take action to make them happen for them to come true, for lack of a better phrase. They are changing my life. But are they changing the lives of those people again who are just seeing them on a billboard or seeing them again as they scroll through social media? For so many people, the pretty quotes aren't increasing that feeling of joy and confidence. They're not helping them to become fully engaged and giving their best in life. And that is the goal. The goal is not for a moment of feeling good. The goal is for a lifetime of feeling joy and confidence and full engagement. And what's worse, depending on where you are, and again, I have been there too, when I read an affirmation, I could actually feel worse after seeing it because I have felt so far away from where I want to be that when I see something that says, for example, you are bold or you are resilient or you are incredible, you are enough, where I am in such a place where I have gotten so far from where I want to be that seeing those affirmations pulls me down further because I don't know how and I didn't know how at the time to take action on them. And it hurts my heart so much to think about people who are just going through and seeing these words and feeling like they can never connect with them, that is their greatest desire, but that they can't achieve it, that they don't know how to achieve it, and wondering what's wrong that you have not been able to make that connection between that, what you desire and how you desire to live, and then actually making that happen. And that bridge for me and for so many other people, so many of my clients, is high performance leadership coaching. So let's bring it to leadership. As leaders, we have a unique set of demands on us. And that also require us to show up as ourselves. In past, when I have worked as a team member, and of course, as leaders, we're team members, but when I wasn't leading and instead helping on a team, I could show up and do what I needed to do and not necessarily bring my full self into the role. As I transitioned into leadership roles, I found that I could do that less and less. And that's a whole other discussion on how to show up at work authentically. But certainly as leaders, we have to bring more of our personal selves into our day. And that is into our professional lives. And that is certainly more unique, at least in my experience, than in other roles. And we're giving so much of ourselves along with the feelings that come with being a leader and achieving certain titles, along with that feeling of accomplishment, I also know the other side, where you're feeling overwhelmed, where you are feeling a lack of energy, where you're struggling with imposter syndrome. And those are just to name a few. High performance leadership coaching addresses these areas. And as a leader, you have to have a safe place where you can share who you are, what you are going through, but also, again, leading to that joy and confidence. Because when you are showing up and being fully engaged in your workplace, your team members, they absolutely feel it, and that resonates with them. And without you knowing, you create a safe place for them to be able to come and speak with you, to be able to share their struggles, and to be able to help them. Because part of what we do, of course, as leaders is mentor others. And when you are showing up fully engaged and ready to fully engage and be engaged by others, that is when you are changing lives. That is when you are exceeding the goals that your organization has set. That is when your productivity and your energy are increasing. I still remember a client of mine, a private client of mine who came to me for leadership coaching. And she had a pretty significant breakthrough in session 3. And as she was having this breakthrough and, experiencing some emotions, she shared with me in the moment that She had been so confused for the first couple of sessions because she came to me for leadership coaching and she had gone through other types of coaching as well and came in expecting a certain framework, a certain discussions. And she was confused that we were focusing on her when the sessions first began. So I told her, I'm going to help you see clarity. I'm going to help you generate more energy. I am going to help you raise your necessity or your intention level. I'm going to help you increase your productivity. I'm going to help you develop your influence and help you demonstrate courage. She went along with it because she trusted me, but she certainly was confused. And as she experienced this first breakthrough again around session 3, she began, it clicked. The whole process and what was to come clicked with her. She said to me, I recognize that in order to grow as a leader, to refine her leadership skills, she first had to know herself. And that was powerful for me to hear someone else explain it. And I told her I will always use this story, this experience, because it helped me understand where she was coming from and where many of you might be coming from. Leadership starts from within. And until you understand yourself, you certainly cannot be as effective a leader as you can. And that's what we're here for, this podcast, again, to refine our leadership skills, gain momentum in our careers, and navigate corporate politics. Until you know yourself, you cannot tap into fully engage across all of those areas and be as effective as you can be. And that is the power of this coaching format. That's what drew me to it. I help you as your coach unlock what is already inside of you to help you move past your set point. And as you do, I know your leadership will flourish. And of course, that will manifest into other areas of your life. That's part 1. And I hope that I have set the stage for the power of high performance leadership coaching and that you will join me for part 2. So next week, Wednesday, here on LinkedIn at 9 a.m. Eastern, if you want to join live and be part of the conversation, I hope that you'll join me next week where I share concrete action that you can take to jumpstart your 2022, your leadership journey into 2022. And if you are interested in working with me, please feel free to reach out to me right here on LinkedIn. You can find me on other social media platforms, or you can email me at Karen, Kareen, at Leadership Untitled. Again, you can email me at Karen, Kareen, at Leadership Untitled, and we can discuss what working with me would look like in your specific situation. Do you think that this episode will help someone else? If yes, please share it. That's how you can help me. And I very much appreciate your positive comments and the fact that you have shared with other people in your network. If you are here on LinkedIn, it's as easy as just clicking the share button and letting others know why you think that this podcast and this episode will help them move forward with their careers. I will see you next week. Have an excellent day. Bye.